Hello, I'm MrTieDye. Welcome to my channel. So this video is probably just a little bit late, but better late than never. So I've had a few requests for doing a heart inside a heart. So unlike doing like a bullseye where you can tie a little circle and then you just put more bands on and you get the bullseye shape, you can't do the same thing with the heart. You can tie the first heart and then the second one is going to kind of look like a heart, but really it's just going to be kind of a misshapen circle around your heart. So if you want an actual heart inside a heart, then you have to tie both of them. So what I've done here is made a template, and it was just kind of from playing around. You need a little bit of room. You can't make your next heart like this big and then your next heart that big, and then so because of this point down here and somewhat this point here, but mostly it's this dip down here that is the problem. So you need to be able to tie off the actual heart. So fold it, do the accordion folds on both of them. So you need a little bit of space, and I don't know the exact proportions of what they are, but just through experimentation I found out that if I had at least a couple inches, that gave me enough room to be able to tie both of them and get them both dyed. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a heart inside a heart for Valentine's Day, or just for general, just because people love hearts. So I have my little handy dandy template here that I made, so that just makes it easier for me to draw the two hearts on in the size and location that I want them, and then I can just fold both of them up. And I don't know if I've done it both ways or not as far as which one I tie first, but for this one here, we're going to tie the smaller one first, and then we'll move on to the bigger one. So I'm starting with a t-shirt that's been soaked in soda ash. It's spun out, so it's just barely damp, and I've turned it inside out because that's my preferred method for dyeing. So, and then I've also centered the tee by tucking one sleeve into the other, so I have both sleeves over here. I just line up that bottom seam and then the shoulder seam and shake it out. And I do have a video. I can put a link to that down in the description box. So for now, we're going to get this first heart tied up. And I always start up here at the point. I find that if I start at the bottom and work around, then sometimes this point comes out a little bit and it just misshapes the heart. So this is just my personal preference. I think you just need to experiment and see which way works best for you, but for me, I always start at the top. So we're just going to go around here and do little accordion folds. So there's the first one. We're going to tie this off with kite string, and I do have a video on working with kite string. I can put a link to that down in the description box also. For me, it's just about being able to control how tight I have it tied. Sometimes I found with rubber bands that they were just either too tight or too loose. With the kite string, you can make the adjustments of how tight you want it or how loose you want it right on the spot and in different locations too. So that just makes it handy for me. Okay, so there's the inner heart, and now we're going to just make sure that it's smoothed out here. So I'm making sure that on my fold here where my lines are, that this here hasn't gotten twisted around here on the t-shirt. So I have the fold still right there. The line comes right down to it on the top and the bottom. So, and then once again, I'm going to start here at the top and get this folded. And as I go around, the t-shirt kind of bunches up weird here just because I have this other heart tied in here. So you just have to kind of work around that. So I just keep making sure that I kind of flatten this t-shirt out so that my layers don't get moved in there. And just let it kind of bunch up there if it needs to. There are the two hearts, and like I say, this second one here, I can see that my line is just a little bit crooked down here. That's just because of the way that things are bunched up here. So I'll just make sure that I draw that line on the same way on the back of the tee with that little dip down. So wherever your line happens to be, whether it's straight or it's a little bit crooked, that's the main thing that you want to die along, is where the actual line is, because that's the shape of your heart. So anyway, so then the next thing, let's see, well let's have some fun here, and we'll put a big, let's see, what do I want to do? How about some little hearts down the back here? So we'll put maybe 3 hearts on the back. The other thing, since I have it separate out like this here, I could put a spine up the back, or I could put another heart or a peace sign. Whenever you have the front and the back centered and separated like that, that gives you the option of putting a whole new design on here, or you can just scrunch it all up. So, but we're going to put 3 hearts on the back. So I'm just kind of spacing them out just a little bit here with my template. The other thing you can do, if I made another template, made the heart just a little bit smaller, I could do like chakra hearts down the back. But this here template is too big for that, so we're just going to do just 3 of them down the back. We have the 2 hearts on the front, the 3 hearts on the back, and now I'm just going to scrunch the rest of this. So since I have my sleeves already tucked in together, I'm just going to scrunch them up in their own armhole here. So we got 3 hearts in the back, and I made sure when I was tying it up to kind of go in between them so that it separated those out, just to make it easier for dyeing. And then of course we got the 2 up front here with our line that's just a little bit crooked. So I'm going to put some gloves on and we'll get some dye splashed on this. Okay, to start out with, I'm going to dye the large heart in red and then the smaller heart in light pink. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to work just a little bit away from the line here, just to let the dye spread a little bit on its own. And like I say, this here is the bunched up area, so I'm just making sure to kind of lift those folds up just a little bit to get some dye squeezed down inside there. Touch this up just a little bit more, bring this up to the line. I can see that it's already spread some there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dye the rest of the shirt in light purple and a dark purple. So I'm going to go ahead and put the light purple on right here next to the heart. I'm going to leave just a little bit of a white spot once again and let it spread on its own. But since the red is spreading so fast, I want to make sure that it doesn't spread up past the line. So by putting another color in, it kind of locks that in place there. It still might spread just a little bit, but not quite as much, because really the liquid is just trying to equalize itself within the t-shirt. So, and then I'm immediately going to flip this over and get the other side dyed the same way, just so that I can get that locked in. So I'm going to start a little bit away from the line, get this dyed up, Once again, the thick area here in the middle, I'm making sure to get some extra dye squeezed down in there so I can kind of use the tip of the bottle to lift that and open that up some. And then light pink for the small heart. And then we'll put the light purple on again. And once again, leave just a little bit of a white space so the dye can spread on its own. And we'll leave that sit for a bit. I'm going to go ahead and get these other hearts dyed, and then we'll get the rest of the t-shirt dyed up. So I'm going to go ahead and use the light pink on these three on the back also. There's the heart in the heart tee with the hearts on the back. So I'm going to let this batch for 48 hours, and then I will rinse it and have the results for you here in just a couple seconds. Thank you. Okay. So there's the heart in the heart, and then we did the hearts up the back. I'll have this at the end of the video also.